solve the equation below, first of all, what do those directions mean? Again, we want to isolate the variable, right? We want to isolate the variable, all right? We want to know what x is. What minus 5 is equal to negative 1, all right? And so that's what we're going to look at today. So we have this little graphic organizer to help us figure this out. So what I want us to do is, if you see this thing in the middle right here, this thing in the middle is always going to be our equal sign. The idea with an equation is to keep it balanced. X minus 5 is on this side, negative 1 is on this side. They're equal to each other. So when you have a scale or something like that, whatever you do to this side, you have to do to this side. And that's what we're going to look with algebra here. So we're going to use this little graphic organizer. X minus 5 equals, always in the middle, negative 1 over here. All right? So what I want to do is I want to get x by itself. So my goal down here at the end is to know what x equals. All right? And that's what I want to figure out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, what's on the same side as x? Well, there's a minus 5. And you're going to hear me say it over and over. All right, so I want to get rid of the minus 5. I want the minus 5 gone. So what's the inverse of minus 5? And that's where we're going to get that idea of add 5. But the rules of algebra, whatever you do on one side, you have to do to the other. And notice there's one on this side of the equal sign, and there's one on this side of the equal sign. All right, so now the point of the inverse is to make these things go away. What's a negative 5 and a positive 5? It's 0. So these cross out. And I'm left with just x equals. Now I'm going back to what we did the first chapter. What's a negative 1 plus a 5? So I come down here, you know, get away from this sometimes. Don't do it all in your head. Tell yourself negative 1 down, positive 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These cancel out, and I'm left with 4. So that's my answer. X is equal to 4. And again, like I said, that was our goal. X equals something at the end. So that was just extra space we don't need now. All right, that's my answer. I'm done. Now I can check it. 4 minus 5, does that equal negative 1? And it does. All right, so now what I want you to do, take a couple seconds, try B. All right, so go ahead here when I get finished talking, pause the video, try B. Now the difference between now and in class is I'm not going to go over B right now. We're going to wait to come back in class and see if we can go over B together in class. So when we get done with the video, I'm not going to come back here and do this. So when I come back after the video, I try to say pause it and you try it. Go ahead and unpause and we'll move down here to C. All right. So here in a second, when I say go, what I want you to do is try B. When you get finished, continue the video and we'll move on with the examples. So go ahead and pause now. All right, so now we're going to go down to C. And again, you're going to see fractions. Don't worry about the fractions. They're just fractions. Who cares? All right, so x plus 3/5 equals negative 2 over 7. Right, just like we've been doing before. Take that minus that's in front, bring it up top to the 2. All right, equals in the middle. So I want to get x by itself. So what's on the same side as the x? A plus 3/5. So what's the inverse of plus 3/5? It's minus 3/5. Whatever I do here, I have to do over here. All right? So again, I'm going to ask myself, okay, what is a plus 3/5 and a minus 3/5? It's 0. That's easy. That goes away. So on this side, I'm left with just x equals, always in the middle. Now here, all of a sudden, I'm like, I can't do that in my head. So don't come down here. All right, negative 2/7. All right, and what you can say is this is always addition. So you can say plus negative 3/5. Now here you can do common denominator or crisscross across. So I can do crisscross across. So that's negative 2 times 5 is negative 10, plus 7 times negative 3 is negative 21, and then that's 35. And that equals negative 31 over 35, and that's my answer. Negative 31 over 35. All right, so recognize here, you look at the fraction, you're like, oh, I don't understand this new stuff. The only thing that's weird here is adding the fractions here, but that's what we've been doing. And you may say to yourself, Mr. Hyde, I thought you said that was subtraction. Remember, we said it a lot of times in class, there's not a big difference between addition and subtraction. All right? So come over here, and let's go ahead and just change this now. All right? And I'll get you started a little bit, but I want you to try the rest on your own. So we write it, x plus 3 2/5 equals 4 3/7. Now, before we start, like I said, I don't like working with mixed numbers. So let's get rid of it. Let's leave x plus 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17, so 17 over 5 equals 7 times 4 is 28, plus 3 is 31 over 7. Now we have an example that looks just like the one over here. It's just improper fractions. So go ahead and pause. Try this one. When you get done, start the video again, but we'll go to the back side. So we'll finish this in class when you come back the next day. So go ahead and pause now. All right, so now take your sheet, flip it over.